Do you remember playing the game of not walking on the cracks on the pavement, or touching something a certain number of times, or counting repeatedly, because if you didn't you feel uncomfortable or something bad was going to happen? Well, OCD is just like this, but much, much worse.
OCD is obsessive compulsive disorder. Again, this is an anxiety disorder whereby one has thoughts that are very, very uncomfortable, and one then deals in rituals to try and combat those thoughts. And sometimes the two can be very, very unrelated, and sometimes they can be very related. Very commonly, the one that people know a lot about are things like feeling that you're going to be contaminated in some way, so thinking that your hands are very dirty, so you may engage in hand washing behaviors over and over again. We know that women tend to do a lot more hygiene related OCDs, contamination OCDs, whereas for men it tends to be much more checking behaviors. You know, did I turn off the lights? Did I turn off the lights? I've got to kind of turn things off in order. It becomes very ritualistic. People have specific numbers that, you know, they will or not do things in a specific number, and it can actually be hugely detrimental. There's something called pure O as well, where you have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, but the obsession is there, but the compulsion isn't. And this can also be extremely serious and extremely anxiety provoking for the person. So you have this horrible thought, but you go almost through a mental recap of it constantly, and perhaps not a behavioral compulsion in order to cope.
I knew all the compulsions were in my head. I had to do everything 3 times, I had to clean everything 3 times, I had to wash my hands 3 times. I just thought that if I didn't do that, then something bad would happen. Fortunately for me, my mother picked it up early, and she sent me to a therapist who put me onto a course of anti-anxiety tablets and onto a CBT course. As a result, now I actually feel a lot better, I'm a lot less stressed, and I actually feel more compulsive toward getting better than anything else.
There's a lot of therapies out there. There's CBT, there's psychopharmacological therapies. There's a lot of great charities out there that can help people with OCD. For a lot of people, what they need to do is learn A, what's triggering them, and B, not reassure themselves. So, you know, if washing my hands is reassuring, my solution actually becomes part of the problem. Yeah, so I need to be able to touch this sofa or wherever else and not wash my hands and say, do you know what? Nothing's going to happen. I need to be able to leave the house after not having checked it 20 times in a particular order, and be able to tolerate that anxiety without going back, because the more I reassure myself, the more my solution becomes part of the problem, becomes a vicious cycle.